Good morning, friends. It is Sunday, the 29th of January, and we've got quite a bit of snow, and I will not be going out this morning. I'm enjoying my first cup of coffee. Haven't had my breakfast yet, but I thought I will put on some veggies and some meats and make a nice pot of soup for later on today. So this is 11 ounces of cabbage that are shredded, an Italian sausage that was already cooked and waiting in the refrigerator to be used up, celery stalk, a medium carrot, several garlic cloves, a really generous serving of coarsely chopped onion, but it's sweet onion, a 5-ounce potato that's diced. I'm going to be putting in a jar of my home canned chicken breast. It's an 8-ounce jar along with the broth. For seasoning, I'll be using Mrs. Dash's salt-free seasoning, and I will also be adding a tablespoon of the Better Than Bouillon soup base, a can of chicken broth, onion and garlic powders, some bay leaf, did I mention a little bit of dried rosemary, and coarse black pepper and salt. So let's get all of this stuff in the pot and get it to going, okay? Okay, friends, at this point I have all the vegetables except the cabbage in here. There's the chicken meat, the sausages down there in the bottom of the pot, the seasonings, the herbs, and so the next thing to add will be the cabbage. So hang on while I set you down. Okay. I've got the onion and garlic powders in here, the salt and pepper, the Mrs. Grass's salt-free seasoning, the Better Than Bouillon soup base, rosemary, a couple small pieces of bay leaf, the garlic, onion. All right, so then the next thing that goes on is the can of chicken broth, because I want this soup to have lots of flavor. And I know that's not enough liquid, so what I have here are 8 ounces of just plain cold water. And at this point, I'm just going to bring it to a boil and then lower the heat and just let it do its thing till everything is nice and tender, okay? So, all right, I'll see you in a little bit. See the other goodies down in there. The cabbage will wilt down. I wanted to show you what the mixture looks like. It has not started to boil yet, but can you see how the broth is just up to the surface of the vegetables and that? This way the broth will retain some flavor instead of getting all water and everything. Okay, now my question concerns this. You saw me put in some of my home canned chicken, and when I opened the can it smelled wonderful. But I didn't taste any. I never taste any of my home canned chicken until after I cook it for like 15 or 20 minutes at or near boiling. And I've got lots of little jars of canned chicken meat that I did last fall, and it all looks good. This one that I just opened smells real good. This one doesn't look any different. The lid is still on, nice and tight. If you do your own home canning, if you pressure can meat, do you take the chance and eat chicken or whatever out of the jar? I would like to know. There are so many cautions by government agencies that you're not supposed to do it because of the danger of botulism. And so I just always err on the side of caution. But what do you do? And you're not responsible for what I do. I'm just curious as to what any other home canners do. Okay, so this has to boil, and then I'll be lowering the heat and just letting it simmer for quite a while. My breakfast this morning is a mini ciabatta that I split and toasted. There's 1 slice of seeded rye bread. There is some pepper jack cheese. I don't know if it was even 1 slice of pepper jack cheese. And a little tiny bit of lunch meat, and then each quarter has a slice of avocado on it. I put a little bit of black pepper and about a half a teaspoon of Italian dressing drizzled over the avocado. So that, along with coffee, is breakfast. At this point, the soup has come to a brisk rolling boil, and I will be turning the heat back until it just moves, and we'll let it cook for an hour or so. It's beginning to smell really good too. Guys, it's only about 1:30, but the soup is done. It is too early for me to eat dinner or anything like that, but I just have to have a little taste test. It smells incredible. Now the broth is a little bit cloudy because of the broth from the canned chicken, but everything is nice and tender, and oh my goodness, it smells so good. It smells so good. Okay, let me just take a little taste. I just have a little bit of cabbage and carrot, a little bit of chicken and some broth. Alright, hang on. The broth is nice and clean, and it has sort of a sweet aftertaste, not like sugar, but just like the kind of sweetness that cabbage releases when it's good and fresh. Okay. The potato is nice and tender too. I just love this soup. This is kind of like a basic recipe for me, and I just, adapt it according to whatever kind of meat I have. Sometimes I use kielbasa, or if I have some leftover ham or pork. Even chicken works well in this, but it would have to be something like the wing or a thigh, where you have the skin and the dark meat and the bone, and then you create your broth from that. But it is so good, and I just thought I would share with you what I was doing on this snowy Sunday afternoon. All right, my friends, I will see you later.